The PS5 Access Controller is an official PlayStation 5 controller kit. It has been created for players who are unable to use DualSense or DualSense Edge controllers. In this video, we'll be taking an introductory look at the controller kit's components and initial setup, which may help with learning if right for you. The Access Controller is designed to enable players to create their own customized controller layout. The controller kit features an adjustable control stick, programmable buttons, and allows you to connect external devices such as switches, joysticks, and mounts. You can use two Access controllers together, or use one or two Access controllers with a DualSense or DualSense Edge to be split across different parts of the body, or to be used with another player to share the controls alongside you. The tape on the box has a loop that can be pulled, and all the components are on a single layer for easy access. The controller has 10 remappable buttons and a single joystick that are all built into the controller. There is also a PS button and a profile button near the joystick. There's a selection of caps that you can place on all the buttons. These attach with a magnet but can also be removed by holding down the push bar and pulling up. The caps range in various curvatures and sizes, with one being able to cover two buttons so that simultaneous button presses can be pressed with a single button. Each cap also has a hole in it where you can place a tag. This can show what button they will function as once you have assigned a controller layout to it. The joystick on the controller can be adjusted to come out and away from the buttons. If you press the lock button and letting go, the joystick position can be adjusted. Pressing the lock button again locks the joystick into position. The joystick comes with three different toppers, a ball-shaped one, a dome-shaped one, and a standard DualSense joystick topper. Each topper can be removed by pulling the top of it. The Access Controller also has 4 ports where you can plug in accessibility joysticks and switches that have a 3.5mm jack. For example, at Special Effect, we used the Celtic Magic mini joysticks, One Switch mini sticks, and Evil Controller's mini thumbsticks, all of which have a 3.5mm connection. Here, we have also connected some Logitech, Marblesoft, and AbleNet switches. It also has some connections on the bottom for mounting. Here, we have connected it to a Manfrotto variable friction arm. Before you can use the Access Controller on your console, you have to ensure the latest software has been installed so you can configure it. When you plug in your Access Controller in your PS5 console for the first time, you can create your own custom layout with the 10 remappable buttons, the single joystick, and the 4 ports. You can decide the orientation you want the controller to be in, and this will determine the joystick directions in-game. There are 4 orientations to choose from, where the joystick is either positioned to the left, the right, above, or below the buttons. You are able to remap the 10 built-in buttons and the 4 ports on the controller. You can then assign them to be any button function found on the PS controller, with the exception of individual joystick directions and touchpad swipes. The joystick can be either left stick, right stick, or unassigned. The PS button and the profile button found near the joystick cannot be remapped. You can create up to 30 profiles to be saved on the console and assign up to 3 profiles on the Access Controller. You can also copy a profile into a new profile, so that if there's a similar controller layout you have, but you want to change only a few buttons, then you can assign a previous profile instead of starting from scratch. If you have more than one profile on the controller, pressing the profile button will cycle through each controller layout. There are horizontal lights that correspond to which profile is currently active. For example, if profile 1 is active, then a single light will be lit. Profile 2 will display 2 lights. Holding down the profile button will display your currently selected controller layout. If you find that the button assignments aren't working for you, you can hold down the profile button for approximately 6 seconds. This will reset the controller to its base controller layout, which includes cross, circle, options, and left stick. You can also assign a second button so that a single button will act as 2 inputs. This can be useful for games that require simultaneous button presses. You can also assign the same input to multiple buttons. You can assign a button to be a toggle. Certain games require holding down a button to perform an action, such as aiming. However, a toggle can remove the need to hold a button down. Pressing a button assigned as a toggle will allow you to perform the action with a single press rather than holding down the button. Pressing the button again will stop performing this action. When a toggled button is active, an icon will be displayed at the bottom of the screen. This icon can be switched off if you prefer. The default layout includes left stick, cross, circle, and options. This is so you can always navigate menus, select, and cancel, even if you fully delete a controller profile. If you haven't assigned these functions after creating a controller layout, a message will appear to let you know. You can view your current controller layout while remapping by looking at the icon at the bottom right of the screen. You can adjust the joystick sensitivity and dead zone. You can see how much each setting has been adjusted by looking at the controller input and adjusted input bars. The sensitivity has 5 increments which can be adjusted, and the dead zone has 30 increments. You're able to connect 2 access controllers to work alongside each other in case you need to use the extra buttons or use a second joystick. You can create a customized button layout and a zone orientation for each controller. You can also add a DualSense or DualSense Edge to work alongside 1 or 2 access controllers. For example, if you could use certain parts of a DualSense, such as the left side of the controller, but need to use extra buttons or an extra joystick, then you can use the access controller alongside the DualSense to make up for the right side of the controller. There are lights on the center button that let you know what number the controller is assigned as, whether it's controller 1 or 2. We hope you found this video useful. For more information on PlayStation 5 Access, please use the PS5 Access tag on the Special Effect Game Access website.